In today's episode, we're looking at 5 people who were ripped apart by great white sharks. From a marine biologist who dove too deep in murky waters, to a commercial diver where one routine harvest turned fatal. But first, we start in South Africa, where one ignored warning turned a surfer's dawn session into a nightmare. It was August 15, 2016, when the frigid waters surrounding Seal Island churned with an ominous energy as dawn broke over the South African coast. The rocky outcrop, notorious for its dense seal colonies and the apex predators they attract, sat shrouded in morning mist. Water temperature held steady at 58 degrees Fahrenheit, while visibility remained limited to mere 10 feet beneath the surface. Kai Malia, a 28-year-old professional big wave surfer from Hawaii, had traveled halfway across the world chasing the ultimate adrenaline rush. Standing 6 feet 4 inches and weighing 325 pounds, the former college football linebacker possessed the physical presence that had made him legendary on Hawaii's most dangerous breaks. His muscular frame, built for tackling massive waves, carried the confidence of someone who had conquered pipeline and mavericks without hesitation. Local guides had issued stern warnings about increased shark activity during seal pupping season, but Malia dismissed their concerns with characteristic arrogance. The seals were calving just 200 yards from his chosen surf spot, creating a feeding frenzy that had drawn multiple great whites to the area over the past 3 days. Despite recommendations to surf with a partner, Malia paddled out alone at 5:47 a.m., his dark wetsuit creating a silhouette that would prove fatally deceptive in the murky water. Great white sharks represent the ocean's most efficient killing machines, capable of reaching lengths exceeding 20 feet and weights of over 5,000 pounds. These apex predators possess bite forces measuring 3,000 pounds per square inch, delivered through rows of serrated teeth designed to tear through flesh and bone. Their hunting strategy relies on ambush attacks from below, launching their massive bodies at speeds reaching 25 miles per hour to strike unsuspecting prey. The 18-foot female that had been patrolling Seal Island's waters embodied this lethal perfection. Her scarred hide told stories of countless hunts, while her massive girth indicated successful feeding in the seal-rich environment. During pupping season, these predators become hyperactive, their senses heightened by the abundance of vulnerable prey. The shark approached from the depths with calculated precision, her massive form invisible against the dark water below. Malia sat straddling his surfboard, scanning the horizon for incoming swells, completely unaware of the 2,000-pound predator ascending beneath him. At 6:03 a.m., the great white struck with explosive force. The initial impact launched Malia 8 feet into the air as the shark's massive head collided with his surfboard. The custom-made board, designed to handle 50-foot waves, snapped in half like balsa wood under the tremendous force. Malia crashed back into the water with bone-jarring impact, his 325-pound frame creating a massive splash that further attracted the predator's attention. Within 15 seconds, the shark circled back for the primary assault. Her massive jaws, spanning nearly 2 feet in width, clamped down on Malia's torso with devastating precision. The 3,000 psi bite force instantly crushed his ribs, the sound of splintering bone echoing through the water. Serrated teeth, each measuring over 2 inches in length, punctured through his wetsuit and deep into his flesh. The shark began her signature death roll, thrashing violently from side to side while maintaining her crushing grip. Malia's spine snapped under the tremendous torque, severing his spinal cord and paralyzing him instantly. Major arteries in his torso ruptured as the teeth sawed through muscle and organ tissue, creating a rapidly expanding cloud of blood that turned the surrounding water crimson. The attack continued for 45 seconds of pure destruction. The shark's powerful tail drove her massive body through the water as she shook her prey like a rag doll. Malia's lungs collapsed as teeth punctured through his chest cavity, while massive blood loss sent him into immediate shock. His body went limp as consciousness faded. though the shark continued her assault for several more seconds before finally releasing her grip. Malia floated face down in the bloodied water, his massive frame now motionless and broken. The great white circled once more before disappearing into the depths, leaving behind only devastation and the metallic scent of blood that would linger for hours. The South African Coast Guard recovered Malia's body 2 hours later after a passing fishing vessel reported the attack. An investigation by marine biologists confirmed the involvement of a large female great white, though the specific individual was never located. The incident prompted renewed calls for enhanced safety protocols at known shark aggregation sites. Malia's family released a brief statement acknowledging his passion for extreme surfing while requesting privacy during their grief. The surfing community mourned the loss of one of big wave riding's most fearless competitors, though many noted his tendency to ignore safety warnings had finally caught up with him. Kai Malia's story was a brutal reminder of how quickly the ocean's apex predator can strike. For marine biologist Finn Hurley, it wasn't great whites he should have feared, but a more aggressive predator lurking in murky waters that would prove one encounter too many. It was June 3, 2014, in Queensland, Australia. The Brisbane River churned with muddy brown water as recent flooding had transformed the normally placid waterway into a turbulent corridor. Heavy rains had swollen the river beyond its banks, carrying debris that reduced visibility to mere inches beneath the surface. The flooding had also triggered the annual migration of bull sharks, moving upstream from Moreton Bay. Finn Hurley adjusted his wetsuit as he prepared his spearfishing equipment on the small aluminum boat. At 34, the marine biologist had spent 15 years diving in Australian waters, combining his professional research with his passion for spearfishing. His methodical approach and safety-conscious nature had earned him respect among the diving community. Today's expedition served dual purposes: collecting specimens for his fish population study and celebrating with his girlfriend Sarah before their planned engagement trip. Sarah watched nervously as Finn checked his spear gun. The murky water conditions made her uneasy, but Finn's confidence and intimate knowledge of the river system provided reassurance. He had chosen this location near the port of Brisbane because historical data showed diverse fish populations congregating during flood conditions. Bull sharks represent one of nature's most adaptable predators, capable of surviving in both saltwater and freshwater environments. These stocky, aggressive hunters can grow up to 11 feet and weigh over 500 pounds. Their unique ability to regulate salt content allows them to travel far upstream, making them particularly dangerous during flooding events when they follow increased food supply inland. Finn descended through the chocolate-colored water, visibility limited to 3 feet. At 25 feet depth, he spotted a large barramundi moving through the murky current. The 40-pound fish represented an excellent specimen for his research. Finn steadied himself and fired his spear gun with practiced precision. The steel spear penetrated the barramundi behind the gills, but the wounded fish immediately began thrashing violently. Blood dispersed rapidly, while the fish's desperate movements created low-frequency vibrations and electrical impulses. These distress signals traveled through the murky water like a dinner bell to nearby predators. 400 yards downstream, a 9-foot male bull shark detected the commotion. The powerful predator had been patrolling the deeper channels since dawn, its electroreceptors finely tuned to detect bioelectrical signatures of struggling prey. The shark accelerated through the murky water with deadly efficiency. Finn struggled to control the speared barramundi as it continued its death throes. Blood continued streaming from the wound, creating an expanding cloud in the murky water. The bull shark struck without warning from behind. Its massive jaws clamped down on Finn's left leg above the knee with crushing force. The shark's conical teeth punctured through the wetsuit deep into muscle tissue. The initial bite generated over 1,300 pounds of pressure per square inch, instantly fracturing Finn's femur bone. The impact drove Finn deeper underwater as the shark's momentum carried both predator and victim toward the river bottom. His spear gun slipped from his grasp and disappeared. The bull shark maintained its grip while beginning a violent death roll, spinning Finn's body through the water column. During the death roll, the shark's serrated teeth sawed through muscle and tissue, tearing away a massive chunk of flesh from Finn's thigh. The femoral artery was severed completely, sending jets of blood into the surrounding water. After 30 seconds of violent spinning, the shark released its grip momentarily. Before Finn could attempt to reach the surface, the bull shark attacked again. This time, the predator's jaws closed around Finn's torso below the ribcage. The second bite crushed several ribs and punctured vital organs. The shark's teeth penetrated into Finn's abdomen, perforating his liver and left lung. Internal bleeding began immediately as damaged organs leaked blood into his body cavity. The collapsed lung made breathing impossible. Above the chaos, Sarah screamed helplessly from the boat as she watched the water turn dark red. The bull shark maintained its grip on Finn's torso for nearly 2 minutes, shaking its massive head to inflict maximum damage. The combination of massive blood loss from the severed femoral artery, internal bleeding from organ damage, and inability to breathe caused Finn to lose consciousness. After 3 minutes of sustained attack, the bull shark finally released Finn's lifeless body. The predator had been attracted by the initial blood from the speared fish, but continued the attack due to a defensive response. Finn's body sank slowly toward the muddy river bottom, coming to rest 30 feet below the surface. Police divers recovered Finn's body 6 hours later using sonar equipment. The extensive injuries confirmed the attack had been carried out by a large bull shark, with bite marks measuring over 18 inches across. The Queensland Department of Fisheries issued warnings about increased bull shark activity following the incident. Finn Hurley's tragic encounter reminded all that bull sharks hunt wherever water flows. For fitness instructor Piper Nolan, it wasn't daylight's safety that would guide her final swim, but a massive predator following fishing boats drawn by the promise of an easy meal. It was September 22, 2017, when the warm waters off Wiley Beach in Maui, Hawaii, would claim the life of a determined swimmer. The crescent-shaped shoreline stretched beneath towering resort hotels, their golden lights reflecting across the Pacific's dark surface. Palm trees swayed in the gentle trade winds, while waves lapped rhythmically against the volcanic sand. This popular tourist destination had recently posted multiple shark warning signs following increased sightings, but the warnings went largely unnoticed by visitors seeking their tropical paradise. The beach's reputation as a safe swimming area had been built over decades of relatively incident-free tourism. Piper Nolan, a 29-year-old fitness instructor from Portland, had arrived at the beachfront resort 3 days earlier for a solo vacation. Recently divorced and struggling with the emotional aftermath, she had thrown herself into an obsessive training regimen that included daily marathon swimming sessions. Her lean, athletic build reflected years of competitive swimming, and she possessed an unwavering confidence in her aquatic abilities. Despite the posted warnings and local advisories about increased shark activity, Piper dismissed the concerns as tourist paranoia. She had swum in these waters before and considered herself too experienced to be deterred by what she viewed as overblown fears. Her daily routine included swimming, regardless of weather conditions or time of day. Tiger sharks are among the ocean's most formidable predators, reaching lengths of up to 18 feet and weighing over 1,400 pounds. These apex hunters possess incredibly powerful jaws, lined with serrated teeth designed to slice through flesh, bone, and even turtle shells. Unlike many shark species, tiger sharks are opportunistic feeders with an indiscriminate appetite, earning them the nickname wastebasket of the sea. They are most active during twilight and nighttime hours, when their enhanced senses give them a significant advantage over prey. Their exceptional ability to detect electrical fields and vibrations in the water makes them particularly dangerous to swimmers during low-light conditions. These predators can accelerate to speeds of 20 miles per hour during attacks. At 9:30 p.m., Piper entered the darkened water wearing a bright yellow swimsuit that would prove fatally conspicuous. The moonless night created near-perfect hunting conditions as she began her routine swim toward deeper waters. Approximately 800 yards from shore, she maintained her steady stroke pattern, unaware that a 12-foot female tiger shark had been patrolling the area after following fishing boats that had dumped bait scraps earlier that evening. The 78-degree water temperature and complete darkness provided ideal cover for the predator's approach. The initial contact came without warning as the massive shark surged upward from the depths. Its powerful jaws clamped down on Piper's right arm with crushing force, the serrated teeth penetrating deep into muscle and bone. The impact dragged her 15 feet underwater as the shark's bite instantly shattered her radius and ulna bones. The predator began its characteristic thrashing motion, designed to disorient prey and cause maximum tissue damage. Tendons and ligaments were severed completely as the shark's grip tightened. After releasing her mangled arm, the tiger shark immediately launched a second, more devastating attack. Its massive jaws encompassed Piper's entire midsection, the teeth puncturing through her stomach wall and intestines. The crushing pressure ruptured internal organs while she fought desperately to reach the surface. Her frantic movements and the spreading blood cloud attracted a second, smaller tiger shark to the scene, escalating the already fatal encounter. The secondary predator began circling as blood continued dispersing through the water column. The primary shark's bite had severed major blood vessels throughout her torso, causing catastrophic internal bleeding. Both lungs were punctured by the penetrating teeth, filling rapidly with blood and seawater. As Piper aspirated the deadly mixture, her body began shutting down from massive trauma and oxygen deprivation. The sustained attack continued for 4 agonizing minutes before she lost consciousness from the combined effects of blood loss, organ failure, and drowning. Her body briefly surfaced before sinking into the deeper waters offshore. The following morning, a jogger discovered evidence of the attack when bloodied swimsuit fragments washed ashore near the resort. Coast Guard divers recovered Piper's remains later that day from 40 feet of water. The subsequent autopsy confirmed death resulted from massive trauma and drowning, with bite patterns consistent with a large tiger shark attack. Local authorities launched an investigation into the incident, temporarily closing the beach to swimmers, while marine biologists assessed shark activity in the area. The Hawaii Department of Land and Natural Resources implemented enhanced monitoring protocols following the tragedy. Piper's family released a statement requesting privacy while expressing their devastation over the loss. The resort implemented additional safety measures and enhanced warning systems, including improved lighting and extended lifeguard coverage. Piper Nolan's tragedy showed how quickly overconfidence can turn peaceful waters deadly. For Zane Asher, it wouldn't be familiar coastal predators, but an aggressive open ocean hunter that would test his survival skills to their absolute limit. It was March 8, 2015, when the Caribbean sun blazed mercilessly over the endless expanse of azure water 200 miles off the Bahamas. The ocean stretched in all directions, a deceptive paradise masking the 3,000-foot abyss below. No land was visible on any horizon, only the gentle swells of deep water that had claimed countless vessels throughout maritime history. Zane Asher, a weathered 45-year-old charter boat captain, had spent 2 decades navigating these treacherous waters. His sun-damaged skin and calloused hands told the story of a man who lived by the sea's unpredictable moods. Known throughout the marina for cutting corners on safety equipment to maximize profits, Asher had always believed his experience could compensate for proper preparation. That morning, alcohol still lingered in his system from the previous night's drinking session, clouding the judgment that had kept him alive through countless storms and mechanical failures. The explosion had torn through his 32-foot charter vessel without warning. Faulty fuel lines, neglected during routine maintenance, had ignited in a fireball that consumed the boat within minutes. Asher barely escaped the inferno, diving into the ocean as debris rained around him. For 18 grueling hours, he had clung to a section of the boat's fiberglass hull, his body lacerated by jagged metal and burning fuel. Multiple wounds across his arms, legs, and torso leaked crimson streams into the pristine water. The oceanic white-tip shark represents one of the ocean's most formidable predators. These massive creatures, reaching lengths of 13 feet, patrol the open seas with unmatched aggression. Unlike their coastal cousins, oceanic whitetips show no fear of humans, approaching potential prey with bold curiosity. Their distinctive white-tipped fins slice through deep water as they hunt, following blood trails across vast distances. These sharks possess incredible endurance, capable of pursuing wounded prey for hours while maintaining their relentless assault. The 10-foot male had detected Asher's blood trail from over 2 miles away. Its powerful senses locked onto the chemical signature drifting through the current, drawing the predator steadily toward its source. The shark's approach was methodical, circling the debris field in ever-tightening spirals for 30 minutes. The water temperature of 82 degrees provided perfect hunting conditions as the massive predator assessed its wounded prey. Asher's desperate attempts to signal a distant aircraft proved fatal. His frantic splashing and shouting created vibrations that triggered the shark's predatory instincts. The oceanic white-tip approached boldly from the surface, its dorsal fin cutting through the calm water with terrifying purpose. The initial attack was swift and devastating. The shark's massive jaws clamped down on Asher's dangling left leg with crushing force. Razor-sharp teeth punctured flesh, while the predator's bite pressure shattered both the tibia and fibula bones. Asher's screams echoed across the empty ocean as the shark dragged him from his makeshift raft into the open water. The oceanic white-tip released its grip momentarily, circling its wounded prey with increasing aggression. Blood poured from the mangled leg, creating an expanding crimson cloud that attracted the shark's heightened interest. Within seconds, the predator struck again, this time targeting Asher's torso with devastating precision. The shark's jaws engulfed Asher's chest, massive teeth penetrating the ribcage and puncturing vital organs. The bite force crushed multiple ribs while the predator's thrashing motion tore through muscle and tissue. Asher fought desperately, striking the shark's snout repeatedly with his fists, but his efforts only intensified the animal's aggressive response. A second oceanic white-tip, drawn by the expanding blood trail, arrived to join the assault. The newcomer immediately attacked Asher's legs while the primary predator maintained its grip on his torso. The dual assault created a feeding frenzy that transformed the clear water into a churning red maelstrom. The primary shark's bite had crushed Asher's ribs and punctured his heart, causing massive internal bleeding. Within minutes, shock began shutting down his body's systems as blood loss reached critical levels. The coordinated attack continued for 4 minutes, with both sharks taking turns inflicting devastating wounds across his body. Consciousness faded as Asher's body succumbed to trauma and blood loss. The sharks continued their assault even as their victim went limp, dragging the lifeless form beneath the surface. The ocean quickly reclaimed its deceptive calm, leaving only scattered debris and a dissipating blood trail as evidence of the tragedy. The Coast Guard launched an extensive search operation covering over 500 square miles of ocean. Despite deploying multiple aircraft and vessels, no trace of Asher's body was ever recovered. The maritime community expressed shock at the loss of the experienced captain, though many privately acknowledged that his cost-cutting approach to safety had finally caught up with him. His family struggled to comprehend the brutal reality of his final moments in the vast, unforgiving ocean. Zane Asher's story was a brutal reminder of how quickly apex predators strike when safety fails. For Ruz Ramirez, it wasn't an oceanic white-tip he would face. but a massive great white that had been hunting those very waters. It was October 14th, 2013, when the waters around the Farallon Islands churned with an unusual restlessness. Located 27 miles west of San Francisco, these jagged granite outcrops served as a sanctuary for thousands of seals and sea lions, their barking echoing across the cold Pacific swells. The island's nutrient-rich waters had drawn commercial divers for decades, despite the area's notorious reputation as a hunting ground for great white sharks. Ruz Ramirez, a 38-year-old commercial abalone diver with 12 years of experience, had arrived at dawn with his longtime diving partner Mike aboard their 24-foot fishing vessel. The methodical worker, who supported a family of 4 back in Half Moon Bay, was known among the diving community for his ability to stay underwater longer than safety protocols recommended. Recent shark sightings had deterred many divers, but Ruz needed the better catch that only the Farallons could provide during the seasonal harvest. The morning fog hung low over the water, reducing visibility to less than 100 yards, while the ocean temperature registered a chilling 58 degrees Fahrenheit. Great white sharks are apex predators that can reach lengths of 20 feet and weigh over 5,000 pounds. These ancient hunters possess rows of serrated teeth designed to tear through flesh and bone with devastating efficiency. Their powerful tails propel them through water at speeds exceeding 25 miles per hour, while their keen senses can detect a single drop of blood from miles away. During October, great whites congregate around the Farallon Islands to hunt the abundant seal population, making the waters particularly dangerous for humans. Their electroreceptive organs can sense the electrical fields generated by muscle contractions, allowing them to detect prey even in murky water conditions. After a 45-minute dive, Ruz broke the surface carrying a mesh bag filled with abalone, his rapid ascent creating a cascade of bubbles and splashing sounds. Unknown to him, a 16-foot female great white had been patrolling the area for 2 hours, methodically hunting seals near the rocky outcrops. The diver's sudden emergence, combined with his erratic movements and the noise from his equipment, triggered the shark's predatory instincts. From 50 feet below, the massive predator began its ascent, mistaking Ruz for an injured seal. Mike remained on the boat 100 yards away, unaware of the approaching danger. The shark's dark silhouette moved through the water column with deadly precision, its triangular dorsal fin cutting through the depths as it accelerated toward the surface. The great white struck with explosive force from directly below, launching Ruz 12 feet into the air in a shower of blood and seawater. The shark's massive jaws, spanning nearly 2 feet across, clamped around his midsection with crushing pressure exceeding 4,000 pounds per square inch. Multiple ribs snapped instantly under the tremendous force, the sharp cracking sounds audible above the surface chaos. Ruz's thick wetsuit offered no protection against the rows of razor-sharp teeth that penetrated deep into his torso, each tooth measuring up to 3 inches in length. The impact created a thunderous splash that echoed across the water, sending waves rippling outward from the point of contact. The shark began thrashing violently at the surface, its powerful body twisting and rolling in a display of raw, predatory fury. Each movement drove the teeth deeper into Ruz's body, tearing through muscle, organs, and bone with surgical precision. The creature's bite had severed his spinal cord, instantly paralyzing his lower body, while puncturing both his liver and spleen. Massive internal bleeding began immediately as the shark's teeth lacerated major blood vessels, turning the surrounding water crimson. Mike witnessed the horrific attack from the boat and frantically radioed for emergency assistance, his voice breaking as he described the unfolding nightmare. The shark's powerful tail thrashed against the surface, creating a violent maelstrom of foam and blood. The catastrophic damage proved unsurvivable within seconds. The shark's bite had created a wound spanning nearly 18 inches across Ruz's torso, with teeth marks extending deep into his abdominal cavity. Blood loss reached critical levels as his cardiovascular system failed, his body unable to maintain circulation with such massive trauma. consciousness faded within 60 seconds as his brain was deprived of oxygen, his body going limp in the shark's grasp. The entire attack lasted 90 seconds before the great white suddenly released its grip and disappeared into the depths, leaving behind a scene of devastating carnage. Ruse's diving equipment floated scattered across the blood-stained water, a grim testament to the violence that had just occurred. Mike reached Ruse within 5 minutes, pulling his partner's motionless body onto the boat deck. Despite immediate CPR attempts, the massive internal injuries made resuscitation impossible. The Coast Guard arrived 20 minutes later, but Ruse had already succumbed to the catastrophic trauma inflicted by the Great White's attack. The incident prompted a brief investigation by marine biologists, who noted the attack occurred during peak shark season, when great whites actively hunt seals around the Farallones. Ruse's family requested privacy during their grief, while the local diving community mourned the loss of an experienced professional who had simply been doing his job in dangerous waters. The California Department of Fish and Wildlife temporarily increased patrols around the islands following the fatal encounter. Just when you think sharks are the ocean's deadliest threat, wait until you see what happens next. Click the next video now for more animal encounters that prove nature always wins.